I could not believe the absolute arrogance pouring out of my mother telephone speaker, as she casually stripped away everything I had worked so hard to build. For 3 straight years, I had surrendered my sanity, my sleep, and my physical health to a grueling corporate career, saving every solitary penny to purchase my serene oceanfront sanctuary. Now, she was casually informing me that she and my father had sold their house and were taking over my property, expecting me to move into a dark, damp basement like a dismissed servant. If you want to hear how I turned their greedy ambition into their ultimate public humiliation, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now and turn on all notifications so you never miss a brand new story. My name is Sabrina, and at 28 years old, I had finally reached my absolute breaking point after years of surviving corporate burnout. I had spent nearly a decade climbing the brutal ladder of high finance, enduring relentless 80-hour work weeks and terrifying panic attacks just to secure my complete financial freedom. Purchasing this sprawling beach house was not just an investment for me. It was a vital lifeline to rebuild my shattered mind and heal my exhausted body. The soothing sound of the tides crashing against the shore was supposed to mark the peaceful beginning of my brand new life, but my parents were already plotting to destroy my newly discovered freedom before I could even unpack my final moving boxes. To truly understand how 2 parents could ruthlessly demand to steal their daughter's hard-earned sanctuary, you have to look back at the deeply dysfunctional family dynamic that defined my entire childhood. My parents always maintained a shameless double standard, reserving all their love, praise, and financial resources for my hopelessly spoiled older brother, Harrison. Harrison was a professional failure who wrecked expensive cars, abandoned every job he was ever given, and accumulated astronomical credit card debts that my parents happily erased using their own life savings. Meanwhile, my academic achievements and professional successes were treated as cold, expected obligations, leaving me feeling like an invisible ATM machine meant to serve their endless family demands. The morning after that horrifying phone call, my phone exploded with a series of aggressive text messages detailing my mother's absurd new set of household regulations. She demanded that I immediately vacate the oceanfront primary suite so she and my father could move in, suggesting I move my personal belongings down into the unfinished basement area. She added that if I had any issues with this arrangement, I was completely free to surrender my key and find accommodation somewhere else entirely. Instead of collapsing into familiar tears or giving in to their emotional blackmail, an icy surge of pure clarity washed over my mind, and I immediately called an experienced real estate attorney to verify my total legal ownership. My attorney confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt that because the property was purchased entirely with my independent funds and registered solely under my name, my parents possessed zero legal rights. Armed with that terrifying legal reality, I decided to pretend to submit to their demands, silently constructing an inescapable trap for the exact moment they arrived at my driveway. I spent the afternoon drafting an airtight, highly professional lease contract that listed market rate rent at double the local average, complete with massive security deposits and harsh penalties for property damage. I also hired a commercial security team to install smart digital locks on my bedroom suite and high-definition cameras around every entry point of the perimeter. By sunrise, the entire house had been transformed into an impenetrable fortress, and I placed 2 copies of the aggressive lease contract directly on the marble kitchen island. I poured myself a hot cup of coffee and watched from the bay window as a massive commercial moving van pulled onto my gravel driveway at precisely 10 in the morning. My parents stepped out of their luxury sedan with sickening smiles of absolute victory, acting as though they owned the entire coastline while pointing arrogantly toward the upper balcony. My mother did not even bother knocking on the front door, pushing it wide open and immediately commanding the professional movers to haul heavy furniture into my private bedroom. I stood completely still near the kitchen counter, casually holding the thick legal folder in my hand while staring at them with a look of calm, terrifying indifference. Before anyone unloads a single piece of furniture, I announced in a firm tone that instantly cut through the chaos, "We need to sign these binding legal documents." My mother let out a sharp, mocking laugh, dismissing my words as a pathetic joke until I handed her the drafted lease contract outlining the massive financial obligations. Her arrogant smile vanished in an instant, her face turning entirely ghostly pale as she recognized the massive monthly rent figures and strict security deposits required for them to stay. Rage immediately erupted through the foyer as my father snatched the legal papers from her shaking hands, his face turning a deep, dangerous shade of purple. He began screaming at the top of his lungs, accusing me of betraying my own blood and forgetting every sacrifice they had ever made for me throughout my upbringing. My mother joined in with hysterical sob stories, screaming that I was an ungrateful monster who was actively choosing to throw her aging parents onto the cold street. I did not flinch, nor did I raise my voice, simply staring into her furious eyes and repeating the exact cruel sentence she had dropped on me during our initial phone call. "If you do not like the terms of this lease," I said with total authority, "you are more than welcome to find somewhere else to live." I calmly held up my smartphone, displaying a 10-minute countdown timer on the glowing screen while looking directly into my father's shocked eyes. I informed them that if they did not sign the contract or order the movers to reload the truck within 10 minutes, I would immediately call law enforcement to arrest them. The silence in the room was absolute, broken only by the sound of the ocean waves crashing outside as my father realized his emotional manipulation held zero power over my life. Defeated and utterly humiliated in front of the moving crew, my father slammed the contract onto the counter, grabbed my mother's arm and ordered everyone off my land. I watched through the window as their convoy backed down the driveway and disappeared down the coastal road, leaving me in absolute, beautiful silence. Standing alone in my peaceful living room, I finally took a deep, clear breath, knowing that I had successfully defended my hard-earned home and shattered their toxic control over my life forever. If you enjoyed this intense family drama, make sure to click on one of the videos appearing on your screen right now to keep watching incredible stories just like this one.